I don't care about babies, famously.
Flight 815 crash landed, but where there's weird jungle noises and a polar bear. What the fuck is going on over there? Helen
and Alex
will guide you through. If you've seen Lost 20 times,
or if you're brand new,
welcome to our show. It's
Dharma Fish Biscuits. Hello and welcome to Dharma Fish Biscuits, your new favourite Lost podcast.
We're your hosts, Helen and Alex. We're going episode by episode, spoiler-free, bringing you all the hot takes no one ever asked for.
We are on Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod, where we're posting little clips, little hot rankings, little fuck, marry, kills, and other fun things. You can also email us at dharmafishbiscuitspod@gmail.com. We would simply love to hear from you. And you can also join our Patreon for free at patreon.com/dharmafishbiscuits, which is where we're posting our slightly extended, uncensored versions of the episodes, where we talk about spoilers. It's no ruder, I'm afraid.
In our episodes, instead of going beat by beat, we aim to focus our conversation on the character the episode centres around, and then we'll circle back to what we missed.
This week, it's a Sayid episode, Season 1, Episode 9, Solitary.
Can I share my overall thoughts on this episode before we dig into flashbacks?
Yes.
I thought all of the flashback stuff was so stupid and pointless. And then all of the Sayid stuff on the island was so good and amazing.
Yeah, it's a real shame. Like, I feel like every character up till now that we've had in the flashbacks, their flashbacks have sort of like revealed things to us about the characters. And we've sort of had like these mysterious characters that we don't know a lot about on the island. And then like Kate, we learn about her criminal history. Sawyer, we learn he's a con man. Sun, we learn about her speaking English. And then it's sort of like Sayid. Oh yeah, you know that he's a torturer. Here's him doing some torturing. I suppose there is the subplot with Nadia and his sadness.
But you're right,
about
like
Nadia,
all of the other flashback stuff that we've seen has been like, oh, you think you know this character? Here's a whole other side to them that you didn't expect. Or like, here's a whole history that you didn't see coming. Whereas, yeah with Sayid, it's like, we know one thing about his history and here it is. We're just going to show it to you. You already know this basically, but like...
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to...
And
like,
also
sort of
nothing happens. We see we have like 4 separate flashbacks or however many it is. And essentially nothing happens over the course of that whole story. It could have been done in one like 3-minute scene.
Yeah, I think it will be interesting to like keep track of this as the show goes on, because I think at the start the flashbacks were like this real sort of innovative thing that the show was doing. And obviously it's like quite well noted that the flashbacks dip quite a lot in quality before the writers themselves are like, we've run out of things to do in the flashbacks.
We have only so much to say.
And it's sort of interesting that like by episode 9, with a character's first episode, we're like, yeah, there's not a lot to say about this guy. Even in this episode, the contrast between the flashback and the on-island stuff, which like there's the 2 on-island storylines are both really great in their own ways. You've got like the golf that's this like really fun
Totally.
people having a good time, and then like the Sayid Rousseau stuff is really starting to like give the island mythology some like real meat, and there's like real good stuff happening. And then in the flashbacks it's like, well, this is also the one-dimensional character of Sayid.
Let's crack into it. Flashback stuff. How quickly can we manage the flashbacks? We meet Sayid. He is a torturer in Iraq. He's just about to get like a big promotion from being not a torturer to being a torturer, which he is jazzed about.
Yeah. But also, we're in Iraq, and you know how we can tell we're in Iraq, Helen?
Because
as soon
of
as
the
we go
colour
outside,
grading.
we put the yellow filter on the camera, and that means we're in the Middle East.
The colour grading was insane. Not only was it yellow, it was so yellow that it was verging into green. I think if you like isolated the colour in the whites of people's eyes, it would come out as like a shade of green. It was horrible and like just offensive without even doing anything. Like, I actually thought that they handled the language thing quite neatly. I had forgotten that this is how it goes. That like they start off speaking Arabic And then they just kind of like do a little pan shot, and as you pan past someone's head, then like on the other side of the shot, they're speaking English, accented English, and it's kind of just understood that like we'll just be doing this in English from now on, and you understand that they're actually speaking Arabic.
Okay, that's interesting because I did not understand they were speaking Arabic, and one of my notes was literally, why does he just switch to speaking English in the middle of a sentence? And it just seems so bizarre that like we had an episode in Korea with Sun and Jin, and we were like, these people all speak Korean. All of these flashbacks are going to be subtitled because we're in a different country where English is not the first language. And here they were like, don't even worry about it. We'll all just speak English.
I think the main difference is that like for Naveen Andrews, speaking in Arabic would be like not only like, I mean, obviously for Daniel Day Kim, it was a language that he was like not confident in and had to work a lot at. But this would literally be learning an entirely new language from scratch and doing like a convincing job of speaking it is like, that's a big ask.
I guess, but then it does beg the question of why, like if they knew they were making this show in this way and they knew they were going to have these flashbacks, why would you not get someone who is of the correct origin, or at least who like speaks the language that you want to be doing flashbacks in?
I thought that they handled the language thing quite neatly, because it was like, in contrast, as you say, to how they are managing the Korean, they're like, we're just simply not going to do it in this case, and we're going to make it clear to you early on that, you know, canonically everyone's speaking Arabic, but you're just going to hear them speak English.
Okay, I actually prefer that. After you've said that, I didn't realize this thing about like the camera going behind someone's head and then it changes language. And I think actually, on paper at least, I can appreciate that would be like a technique they're doing as opposed to just like, it's all in English.
Yeah. So yeah, he's become a torturer, and then he gets faced with his childhood sweetheart / friend from school.
Yeah, so I didn't
Nadia.
really get... I couldn't work out exactly what was happening here, because like he sees her coming in and it's like sort of slow motion. He's like making meaningful eye contact with her. But then when he's doing the interrogation of her, I got the impression that it's only when she says like, no one calls me nor you know me, Sayid, from when we were at school. And he's like, the look on his face there sort of looks like that's the point he like realizes who she is. But then I'm like, but why did you have that big meaningful eye contact with her when she came
Well, I think
into the
he
corridor?
probably did recognize her when she walked in. But if you think about someone that you went to school with, like primary school, and you haven't seen them since then. If you see them as an adult, you're probably going to be like, is that Thingy? And then like when they also recognize you and say like, you know who I am, Alex, we went to school together, you'll be like, shit, it is that person.
This is true. Okay.
I can buy it.
I'll accept it. Her story is also like really vague, unless I just didn't internalize it and pick up on it. But it's sort of like we know that she's like involved in some sort of terrorist activity, but we don't really know who she's fighting on behalf of, what she's fighting for.
No, I think they make it deliberately quite ambiguous because they know that we're not going to actually root for a terrorist, probably. So, I mean, we're living in a extremely recently post 9/11 world. So, I think they basically make it so that she is like moving in the same networks and groups as as these people who did a bombing, that she probably knows something about who did the bombing. She probably has information that the authorities want to get out of her, but she's not actually herself guilty of anything, is how I interpreted it.
Do we ever see her again? I guess based on what he's like, how he's talking to Rousseau, is this because he says she died, so is that the last time he sees her?
He starts by saying she's dead, but then later in the conversation with Rousseau, he says, like, you know, I've been keeping hope alive that maybe somewhere she might be out there alive, but I just have to let go of it. So he's creating an ambiguity as to whether she is alive. I'm kind of reading that this is the last time he sees her.
Last time he's seen her.
Island. Right. Sayid is given the task of torturing Nadia to get information out of her. He somehow gets away with not doing anything to her for 3 or 4 weeks when he's supposed to be like torturing her on a daily basis, it seems like. And she's just remarkably unharmed. And he's like, no, don't worry, I'll get something out of her. It's just taking time. It's like, well, I mean, you don't appear to be using any of the tools at your disposal. I hated the bit where she was like, "Oh, I know that you're capable of hurting me. This isn't the first time I've been interrogated by the Republican Guard," and she shows him her various scars and wounds from the torture that she's undergone, including like an acid burn on her chest, and that she has had like her hands have been pierced with a drill, which for me was like, ugh, I can't even see that, even though it's like a fictional fake wound. That's awful.
It is sort of mad that he doesn't do any, like, she's had this done to her before. He's not doing any of this like physical torture stuff, and then they immediately go to, you'll need to execute her.
Yeah, you'd think that Sayid would have received some feedback from his like commanding officer of being like, mate, got to do the torture. That's what you're here for. That's your whole. Remember, you got this promotion. And ultimately, when he's instructed to execute her because she's been not the font of information that they hoped, he kind of tries to like help her escape and shoots both his friend and superior officer Omar, and shoots himself to make it look like she kind of took his gun and managed to escape, and he just like lets her be free and like fingers crossed that she's gonna make it out there. There was an incredible amount of shaky cam during that goodbye scene, to the point where you could barely make out the scene that was happening. I was just like, oh, 2004 was a time for cinematography.
So on the island, we open the episode with Sayid alone, staring at his photos of Nadia, and then he sees a cable in the sand, which like immediately annoyed me, because I was like, the cable is just like peeking out as if someone has barely buried it and put it there to be seen. And then like as soon as he pulls it out, it's then like 3 feet in the air going all the way into the jungle. I'm like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this was actually buried in the sand.
I had the opposite reaction, which was he saw the cable and I was like, a cable on the beach running into the sea? What a great mystery. Who is doing what using electricity? And like the fact that it was like partially visible, I feel like is very believable, given it's a beach, and you know, the sand is going to like erode and move around and like get worn down with the tide coming in and out. I find that very believable.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh, yay, he found a big cable at the beach. This is like, this is actually the first thing in the whole show that has indicated, other than the Rousseau transmission, that has indicated to us that like there are other people on the island. There's some kind of civilization. There's electricity. There's structures. There's like, this is a huge mind-blowing moment for like someone who's watching the show for the first time.
Okay, you are actually selling this to me more. But then it just annoys me. Then that
and it goes into
more,
the sea. Where does it go?
Where does it go? And he's like follows it, and I guess we're led to believe that like between the first scene and the second scene, he like follows this cable into the jungle, and that's how he's in the jungle. But then we never actually see like where that cable leads, what it's attached to. I guess he gets.
It goes to like Rousseau's little hut.
Trapped by Rousseau. I don't know. He just
because she's got the batteries, like the generator there. Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah,
but I mean, he gets tripwired, so he can't be held responsible. Yeah, so
I guess he probably just like drops the cable when he's tripwired, and then we'll. But then, do we ever pick up that cable again? I don't know.
Sayid, I mean, okay, listen. I'm not a trained soldier, as Jack points out to Kate that Sayid is. But even I know that if I see what's clearly a tripwire running along the forest floor, my thought is going to be, let me try triggering that with a stick rather than simply walking across it. Like, let me do at least one thing to try and test what happens if this gets set off. Yeah.
It's also, like, as soon as there is a tripwire, it's like, oh, very good, he avoided that tripwire, but then doesn't have any, like
guess continued... I bet that was the only tripwire and there's no other kind of trap around here.
Which serves him right, but he is then hanging upside down.
Yeah.
So he's hanging upside down. He gets taken to Rousseau's interrogation room. And again, this is really fascinating to me to think about in the context of the whole show. That like you say, there's electricity there, but we don't know where is she? Where did she get this electricity from? There's this like weird little cavern that she's in that's sort of like, is just not really mentioned again. Because anytime we see Rousseau in the future, she always like comes out and is just like in the jungle somewhere. And it's like, oh, she's got somewhere that she's just like hanging out with lights and batteries and all this like metal. Just
yeah, I mean, she does
sitting
give
in
us
some underground.
She does give us the potted history. She tells us that they dug out the shelter as a temporary thing when they first arrived. And then I guess she's just like gradually built it up more and more over time. Some of the stuff that's there they would have had with them on their expedition ship, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
It's,
So I
yeah,
feel like I'm being very
not,
negative about this episode. I promise I did enjoy it.
It's I guess you could absolutely pick holes in it, but I was just like, yeah, whatever, I buy it, like it's fine. Yeah. Oh, I fucking love Rousseau. I was so happy to meet Rousseau. She's like at this stage in the show easily one of my favorite characters. Like before, we have some like bangers coming up down the later on, but like she and I was thinking about this, like, why do I love Rousseau so much? And I think it's that she is a female character who is complex, who has like a depth and a level of like nuance to who she is, what she wants, what she's motivated by, what her history is. And also just the like acting performance is on another level. Like, I thought about it so much during this episode. There were so many moments where I was just like, Mira Fulan, I think her name is. I may be getting that wrong.
Furlan.
Mira Furlan, yeah. That there was just so many moments where I was like, another actor could have given us such a like basic read of this line, and instead it's like infused with so much.
Yeah.
Oh,
so much like dramatic tension. Also, I think the script does a really good job because it would have been because they're like walking this really fine balance of like, we need to give the audience something, but we can't give them everything because we still need there to be some mystery, but also this crazy woman has just walked out of the jungle. And I think they do such a good job. And I've watched so many, because I love me a mystery show. I've watched so many other shows that get so frustrating with like, where people just are intentionally obtuse with what they say and will just be like, I'm just not going to say this for no reason at all, but I just can't tell you the answer to that. And I think they do a really good job of like actually giving us some information, and she like answers some of Sayid's questions. And obviously I think it's like helped because she is maybe slightly not fully mentally well, having been alone in the jungle for 16 years. It like gives her this edge of like suspicion and like, I don't want to tell you everything. But instead of just being like, nope, I can't tell you anything. I don't know.
They do a really good job in the course of the episode of just like meting out a little parcel of information at a time.
Yeah.
Like, and they have her, you know, her opening question is, where is Alex, in a bunch of different languages. And it's over the course of the episode, Sayid is like trying to figure out who Alex is and like, what is Alex in relation to you? And then, you know, they give us at the end of the episode the little reveal that Alex was her child. And it's just that sort of like, it's just enough to feel like a little bit of satisfaction after like a little mystery. And we get enough, and we get some new avenues opened up and new questions and new mysteries. And we at the same time get enough information about her that we feel like we've gotten a little way down the path here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it also opens up like the island mythology, and it's like there are other people on this island. And like I also love that Sayid is not, because this is another thing that people love to do in poorer shows, of being like, well, I'll just take this vague thing you said and that's the end of it, and I have simply no further questions for you. But when she's like, they were the carriers, he's like, who were the carriers? And she's like, the others. What others? He's like, please tell me some more things.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I just thought the whole episode's worth of interactions between them is just fantastic.
Yeah. And like, I love how they make her so spooky at the beginning. Like, she's such a mysterious figure. They disguise her voice so that she initially sounds like a man, and then like you gradually hear that she's a woman, and you hear her speak French, and then you see her outline with her like hair. The hair does so much for the characterization. Yeah. Like the day that someone brings her a hairbrush, it's all over for Danielle Rousseau. And like the way that she goes when he puts the pieces together, and it's like, oh, it was you who had the French transmission that's been playing for 16 years. And she goes like, 16 years. has it really been that long? And you're like, this woman is spooky as fuck, and I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I love is like they managed to do the spookiness really well when she's, like you say, when Said's waking up and there's all these like echoey voices and in the various different languages and she's in the shadows. But then even when she comes out, she like, and this is again, like credit to Mira Fairland, like it keeps the like spooky nature of her. She's got that like, not quite a frown and like sort of like a middle distance gazing so often that's just like, I don't know, fantastic.
While we're shouting out Mira Furlan, we should also say that she sadly died in 2021. A loss to the world.
A true loss. I don't know what else she did, but I feel like it was not enough, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Also,
even like
she's
what
Croatian,
she did on
not
Lost
French.
was not enough. Give us more Rousseau.
Yeah, we will learn a lot more about Rousseau, and I think it is, for me, never enough.
Yeah. She has Sayid chained to a sort of spring bed, like the sort of metal bit of a bed, I guess. What is it? How would you describe it? Like,
it's almost like a bed frame, but not quite.
She has him chained to a metal bed frame, and he has his arms like tied up behind his head, lying down, which gave us all a moment to just stop and reflect about how extremely fit his arms are. Oh my god, this man. It's a real easy hot ranking choice for me today. Whew.
Well, I'm very happy for you.
You didn't react to the arms? Okay, well.
I can't say I did, I'm afraid. I'm sorry, but I'm happy for you. So they have this whole like interrogation. She's like, "Tell me more."
Oh yeah, she's also electrocuting him. I kind of forgot.
Yeah, she's
it's all like, oh, the guy who's the torturer, who we've just seen torturing people, is getting tortured.
Being tortured. Oh, how the tables have turned. She shows him this music box, and he tells her he can fix it. And then she gets out a little syringe and
she's like,
him.
Cool, I'm going to sedate you so that I can move you. And he's like, fuck, I didn't see this coming. I thought I was earning your trust, but no, okay. Do you think that, like, because Sayid repeatedly asks her about Alex, because her opening question to him, like we said, in a bunch of different languages is like, where is Alex? Où est Alex? Wo ist Alex? And
Donde está Alex?
And so Sayid kind of latches onto this as a thing that, like, this is the one thing I know about you, is that you care about a person named Alex. And so he's kind of like taking every opportunity to ask her and be like, was Alex with you on the journey? Was Alex your lover? And I was wondering whether his like clear ignorance about who Alex is that something that makes it easier for her to believe that he isn't one of the others, that he genuinely doesn't know, because
I think so. I think there's a whole bunch of things, one of which is like the continued insistence that, like, I don't know who Alex is, you tell me who Alex is. I think the fact that he's like invented this whole, the fact he's telling her about this whole plane crash and all of these people that are there, it's like that's so easily disproved. And then him opening up, like the real thing that like I think changes her opinion at the end is when he opens up about Nadia and like tells her about his relationship and his love with Nadia. That's the thing that lets her be like, okay, fine, you can go. So I think it's sort of like over the course of the episode, as more and more pieces are like given to her from Sayid, she overall is like, okay, it does sort of seem like this guy is solid. Okay, so they have this conversation where she tells Sayid that she was part of a science team. They were 3 days out of Tahiti. They made their instruments malfunctioned, they crashed into the rocks, they made this temporary shelter, and they survived for nearly 2 months.
I mean, of course, what Sayid knows is that she left a message on the transmission saying it killed them all. And he's like, so about that, how it killed them all, can we talk about that? And she's like, well, technically they got sick and I had to kill them. And he's like, yikes. Sounds bad for me as a person who is tied up in your shelter.
Yeah.
She also says they were the carriers, which and who she's referring to as they is who she calls the others. And she also says that they basically like she's talking about a time when they were like coming back from the Black Rock. And a
Yeah.
little detail here, because I watch with subtitles on, is the subtitles when Rousseau says they were coming back from the Black Rock. Black Rock is like the B and the R are capitalized.
Oh.
And later, and
What
then
could
when
that
Sayid
mean?
says, "What's the Black Rock?" It's just, small b, lowercase b r.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting detail.
Yeah.
And when she says like, "Oh, they were crazy," I mean, I don't actually fully follow her story. She says basically that like she doesn't say that the other people went crazy. She said they got sick, and she
Yeah.
had to kill them. And she sort of implies that the sickness was caused by the others and the whispers that she hears on the island.
Yeah, I don't know if the
And
sickness
she
is caused
implies
by
that
the
the
whisper. I
others
think the
are
whispers.
doing
Yeah.
the whispering.
Yeah, because Sayid says, "Have you seen other people on this island?" And she says, "No, but I've heard them." So the whispers are the other people on the island, and they are the carriers
Of the sickness.
of the sickness, which has infected her entire team.
Robert.
So then she had to kill them all.
Yeah, it's slightly difficult to follow. And when she says this thing about the whispers, Sayid gives her this face where he looks so like pitying and sympathetic to her, and at the same time is clearly like, oh no, she's crazy, she's lost it, and she sees that and is like, you think I'm crazy?
Yeah, like it would be so easy for like him to make this like pitying face for us to be like, oh, he thinks she's insane, and for her to just like go about her business. But I love the fact that she like notices and she's like, you think I'm insane.
Yeah.
But also I think that's, if anything, maybe adds like a little bit of credence, because what was it? Was it Locke said a few episodes ago? Or maybe Jack. It was like, crazy people don't know they're going crazy.
They think they're getting saner. Yeah, Locke said that.
So like if she's recognizing, she's like, I know I sound.
Yeah, and
like,
she also
like
does
it's
know
insane.
that she's not like fully mentally well. She is kind of like, I mean, I've been on my own for 16 years. It kind of has an effect on a person. And he says it as well, like, I just think you've been alone too long. There's this whole element to their conversation and their exchange, which is like, she it's quite like sexually charged, like the way that when he talks about Nadia, she like touches his face very intimately.
Yeah, I really didn't like the face touching.
I mean, I just found it so believable that like this person who's been on their own for so long, like she says herself, like she hasn't had anyone to talk to or to touch. And that's why she like doesn't want to let him go, is because she's like, oh, you can be my like companion. And it just felt like very real. And like, I think you could easily see it as being like a creepy and predatory kind of sexual advance, but I think I just saw it as being this like broken person who is just like desperate for human connection and intimacy. So I found it like it had this kind of like scary element, but also like so believable and so real.
Yeah.
Love her.
Yeah. And then he's like, please let me go. And she's like, no, you gotta stay here. Giving Kathy Bates and misery.
She's like, look, I've been alone for 16 years, so I mean, it's like, could we fuck?
But then there is a noise from outside. And she says, so I wasn't sure about this, because she says, if we're lucky, it's one of the bears. And he's like, it might be the thing, the monster. And she says, there's no such thing as monsters.
And we're like, what?
do we take this to believe that she has never seen the monster? And she...
Or is it that she knows about the monster and she's met the monster and she doesn't consider it to be a monster?
But then what does she mean by, if we're lucky, it's the bear? Because like the implication...
That's true.
The assumption from us would be, if
She's
we're lucky, it's the bear. If we're unlucky, it's that thing.
Island, and what I saw was beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. I do want, like, I love this episode. I love all these exchanges. I love the deepening of the mythology, but I do wonder whether it suffers a little bit from, we don't really know all the answers to all of these things. So here's some like slightly ominous things that she might say.
I think it's unrealistic to consider that like she never would have encountered, or at least seen from a distance, the monster, given that it showed up on like day one basically for the other losties, and she's been there for 16 years. But is it just that when she says there's no such thing as monsters, she's like, oh, there's this really powerful and malevolent force on the island. But that doesn't, I mean, but like, you know, she maybe knows enough about it to know that it's not something she would refer to as a monster. That's an option.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to point out about the sound that they hear is that it's got this kind of like a roar, but it's also like the sort of thing that we talked about when we first heard it in the pilot, and we were like, we're never going to hear that again. And I was like, oh, I just heard it again. So I guess
I didn't even pick up on it this time. I fully read it, this one, as like pure growling roar.
You were thinking polar bear?
I was thinking polar bear. I was like, I think it sounds more polar bear than monster.
Oh no, I think it's got the ambiguous what would you call that kind of sound?
Honk.
The ambiguous honk. It's got the ambiguous honk that we associate with the monster. It was really a mistake to leave Sayid with a screwdriver in his hands because he's fixed the music box for Rousseau. She's gone off to deal with this, like, whatever's roaring. And so he's like, gonna get myself out of these handcuffs and this like thing. And then he's like, sweet, better get out of here. He grabs the rifle that he's had his eyes on from the,
and all of her maps, crucially.
And he gets the map. Yeah, I fucking loved that bit. The fact that like he literally left a few days ago and was like, I will walk the island and map it because someone has to. And then he's like,
great, someone
day
saved me a
3,
job.
found a map. Cool, I'm done. I'm going back. This was a shortcut to my goal. And yeah, so he's off, he's grabbed the rifle, and then obviously like Rousseau meets him in the jungle, and they each have their guns turned on one another. And he gets as far as pulling the trigger, which was like, wow, I don't think I could have lived with you doing that, Sayid. But of course, it turns out that his rifle is not functional.
And Robert didn't notice either. Ooh.
Spooky.
Yeah, I think this is when we actually get the whole revelation that she was the one that killed everyone.
She says, it took them, referring to the sickness, took them. I had no choice. They were already lost.
Oh.
That's the name of the show. And he tells her what was written on the photograph because she had asked about it, and she had asked, did you write this? Did Nadia write this? What does it say?
Yeah.
And he tells her that Nadia wrote it, and it says, you'll find me in the next life, if not in this one. In other words, I'll see you in another life, brother.
Oh my God. But also, they're really on their purgatory bullshit at the beginning of season 1, aren't they?
Sure. I was very pleased with myself for that catch.
That is a good catch. Anyway, so after he opens up about Nadia, Sayid is eventually like, Rousseau, you should come back with us and like join our group. We've got this great
merry
doctor guy.
band of misfits, basically.
And she doesn't even dignify that with a response. She's just like, no. She's
kind of just like, mate, I'm too crazy. Like I've been out here too long on my own to start trying to socialize with people. It's not going to go well.
I think there's also like an element of self-preservation because she's like, the last time she was with a group of people, in her version of events, they all got sick one by one. So I guess she is like, you really want me to take me back to a group of 40 people to watch them all get sick. And presumably the fact she killed them meant she feared for her life in some way. And she's like, if there's going to be 40 of them, that's not going to
I'm avoid.
Well. Yeah.
I kind of do love to imagine the alternate reality in which she like joins them and has to relearn how to be like a normal person. Like it kind of makes me think about like Eleven in Stranger Things, or like some of these stories of like this person has never been among other people and they have to figure out, or it's a bit like Anya and Buffy or whatever.
Yeah. He says to her, the only way off this place is with their help, talking about the whole group of people. And I was like, oh, that's actually quite a nice like thesis statement for the entire show.
It's a bit kind of live together, die alone, isn't it?
You might say.
When they're having their like parting words, she says, these people that you're so keen to get back to, watch them closely. And I think it's very strongly implied that she's like, any change in behavior might be like an indication that they've been afflicted by the sickness.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't pay off ever.
The last thing they have is Sayid asking who Alex is. And this is when Rousseau says, Alex was my child.
We're halfway through the podcast. We talk a lot, we know. Why not take this time to write a review? It helps more people find the show. Or pop us a little email, or simply tell a friend. We're gonna need some listeners if we're to make it from the pilot to the end.
Okay, shall we move on to the golf?
Golf.
The first and hopefully last Island Open.
Why does he say that? Why should it be the last time? Why can't they do this on a weekly basis?
Well, I think he's hoping that any day now they might leave the island.
Oh, yeah. Mentally, I'm not even like thinking of that as a possibility anymore. I'm like, they just live here now. Okay.
We start off with Sullivan talking to Jack about his hives. And this is like, this guy is so fucking annoying. And Jack is so fucking annoyed. But then Hurley is like, well, everyone wants something to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Jack is annoying. Sullivan is also annoying. And Jack is like, I can't believe this fucking hypochondriac, like wasting my time when we have such important things to be doing. And Hurley's like, dude, you literally just told him to like relax and don't think about it. Like, that's the worst advice ever. And Jack's like, you know what? We're making it work here. Things could be worse. And then Hurley is like, ow! He just truly like loses it for a second. It's so funny.
Yeah. Always Garcia's performance of that word, just one word, is incredible.
Yeah. You know, I don't generally think of Hurley as being like a strong leadership candidate, and he doesn't like ever really try to be either. He's never like in these like power machinations and like the struggle for influence within the group, but he is like totally right in the way that he kind of has identified the fact that people need more than just like survival and, you know, the basic level of physical well-being. They need some sort of existential well-being. They need to have fun. They need to have something to do that isn't just waiting for the next bad thing to happen. And I thought that was like just like a really nice and a bit of a deepening of like Hurley's character, that he's the person who sees this and he's going to do something about it. Yeah. It made me think of, are you familiar with Station 11?
I read the book several years ago, but I don't remember a lot about it, I'm afraid.
It's this is a line that's like ingrained in my brain because of all the times that Joanna Robinson and Mallory Rubin talk about it on the House of R podcast. Is that like that there's a line from Station 11 that survival is insufficient, and that like even in a post-apocalyptic world you need art and you need creativity and you need self-expression, because without all of that, like the survival part is not worth having, basically. Yeah. And golf.
Yeah, I think it does this does a really good job of Hurley being like established as sort of like an everyman and like everyone's friend, and like he's the one who's looking out. Like you say, he's not there for like leadership machinations, but he is the one who's being like, I guess people need this other thing. Let's do this. And just as he's thinking, how can I help people? Along comes Ethan Rain, who's been out hunting with Locke.
Not Ethan Rain.
Oh my God.
I mean,
I'm so sorry.
I've
literally written Ethan Rain all throughout my notes. You're correct.
Oh, I'm just imagining like, what if this was Ethan Rain instead of Ethan Rom? What a better timeline that would have been.
So along comes Ethan Rom. And what has Ethan Rom found? He's been out hunting with Locke. And he's got some hunting experience.
And we,
curious.
We have learned to trust Locke, ? Had a bit of uncertainty about that last time. But generally, we think we trust Locke. And therefore, when Locke trusts Ethan, we're like, sure, seems like a fine guy. He knows how to hunt. Great.
And what's happening here? There are 3 people here, Helen. do you wish to play Fuck, Marry, Kill with Hurley, John Locke, and Ethan Rom?
The thought had genuinely never occurred to me, but I guess we have to.
3 characters in a scene. You know what that means. It's time for Fuck, Marry,
Okay, so the thing is that we have to make this judgment about the characters as they are at this time in the show.
Yep, and all we know about Ethan Rom is that he has some hunting experience and found a bag.
And he's played by Tom Cruise's cousin, famously.
Yes.
So, okay, we've got Locke. So it's Locke, Hurley, and Ethan.
Yeah.
I don't like any
Certainly
of my...
is.
Well, I like one choice here, and that's marrying Hurley. Job done, easy peasy.
Yeah.
The rest is tricky.
It is quite tricky.
I simply, without wishing to motivate it any further, wish to kill Ethan. So I'm doing that. I guess I'm fucking Locke. I don't know. Someone's got to.
I think I'm going to fuck Hurley and marry Locke.
Okay. Any reason?
I feel like Locke has some like transferable life skills that might be useful. He's a very handy man to have around, I feel.
He would drive me crazy. The way he talks, even. Like, it
Yeah.
would be so annoying.
I would have a lot more fun with Hurley.
Hurley's the perfect
Awesome.
husband.
I know, but I really don't want to fuck Locke.
Well,
Okay, I think you're right. I think you've got it, actually. I think it does have to be marry Hurley.
you can always fuck Ethan.
I could. I guess I don't really know anything. Yeah, I guess between the two, I probably would fuck Ethan and kill Locke. Okay, there we go. I'm locked in.
Wow, killing Locke.
Yeah. Which is a shame because he is one of my favourite characters. So
Never thought I would see the day.
I know. Okay, also, just a tiny little side note, very funny while Jack is at the very beginning of the scene when Jack is looking at Sullivan's hives, you can just hear Shannon in the background saying, "Ew, get him out of here." And I don't know what she's referring to, but I'm guessing it's probably Vincent having a little poke around her too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got the bag and we don't know what's in the bag. And later, Hurley's like going around. He goes to see Michael and is like, "Can I have this thing?" And it's like some bamboo.
Yoink.
And Jack's like, "What are you doing, Hurley? Be sensible." And Hurley just like giggles at his face and runs away.
Yeah, it's truly delightful. Another beautiful thread in the tapestry of Jack and Hurley's relationship. Honestly, like ever since we started talking about it in another episode, we were like, are these two actually friends? Do they get on? Do they have any kind of relationship? It's really
I
like,
don't think so.
it's really made me think more about like whenever we see them together, and I'm like, they do interact with each other a lot, but I don't think that they have a friendship. They're just like two people in
No.
the same place who just have to like coexist with each other.
Yeah, I think you're right. So anyway, Charlie comes and finds Jack a bit later and is like, "You need to come and see Hurley." And Hurley has built a golf course.
Yeah, boy.
Iconic behavior.
We love it.
And this is when he like goes into his big speech, sort of like what you talked about earlier of like, everything is awful. We need to just have some fun.
Yeah, and you know, he's so right. And like, you know, Jack and Michael are the first people to come up and witness the golf course. And they're like, of all the stuff we've got going on, we've got all these projects, we got to focus on survival. And Hurley's just like, no, we need to.
But also very
we need
funny-
to play golf.
Also funny when Hurley's like, "There's polar bears," and Michael's like, "What? Polar bears?" And it sort of makes you realize like, oh yeah, the plot we've been watching is only experienced by the inner circle, and everyone on the everyone on
It was
the
very good. He was
periphery
like, oh, you didn't
simply
hear
hasn't.
about the polar bear? No, okay, yeah, that's I'll fill you in later, sort of thing. Oh, it's good. It's good.
It's very good. So anyway, then they start playing golf. We get the iconic gif of Hurley and Charlie swiveling their hips, doing a little thrust.
I also really enjoyed the like fake out where we kind of come back from a flashback scene or whatever it is,
yeah.
or from an ad break, and it's like Michael and Jack deep in serious conversation and be like, "I don't know, man. I don't know what you want to do, but I know what I would do, but it's your call." And of course, it's like, oh, Jack's deciding what like golf club
which
to
club
use
to
for his
use.
shot. And it was just like one of those fun little, like we kind of like, you do see it coming, but it's just fun that they do something a little bit quirky and like trip us for a second or try to.
Yeah. I think this is also potentially second only to the hike of episode 2. This is like the most cinematic use thus far of the like Hawaiian landscape,
Totally.
and it just looks so gorgeous.
They
like,
really
everything
treat
is...
us to a few like proper wide shots of like the
Yeah.
golf course in the whole like
Yeah, you've got the grass, you've got the
vista of
mountains.
mountains.
Like,
It's so beautiful. Oh.
yeah.
Boone comes around to Beach Town and starts spreading the word that apparently Jack's playing golf. Boone also, like, you know, Boone is in his Jack Apprentice era where he's like, Jack's playing golf, I want to play golf. And Sawyer makes a very funny joke. He's like, oh, a doctor playing golf. Who would have thought?
Everything.
Next thing you know, there'll be a cop eating a donut. And I was just like, that is funny, to be fair. Fair play to you.
That is funny. And yeah, this is when Kate tells Sawyer, is she basically just like, you know, try and be nice to people, like, get yourself involved somehow.
Yeah, well, she's like, and when Boone says, "Oh, I heard that Jack's playing golf," she's like, "Jack, like she cannot believe it. Serious Jack doing something fun." But it's true. The rumors are true, and yeah, she says to Sawyer, like, from one outcast to another, you might want to try. I can't remember what she says, but you might want to try making an effort.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Yeah. So then they all go over. Everyone is having great fun. There's a weird little like no homo bit where like.
Oh my god!
Hurley, is it Hurley that's trying to take the shot and Charlie like comes up behind him and he's like, whoa, get away from me.
Yeah. It's very like gay panic, but make it funny. It is kind of like a funny little scene, but it's also like, okay. Did we need that? Kate, I have a new challenge for Kate. You know, we're all familiar with the Kate stop deferring to Jack's authority challenge. I'm henceforth issuing the Kate stop attributing all good ideas to Jack challenge, because she arrives and she's like, wow, how did you do it? And he's like, actually, for once, it wasn't me. Hurley did all of this. And I want to give credit to Jack because he actually acknowledges like that Hurley saw this need that people had and that he knew how to meet that need. And he was like, I've been doing so much to try and make people feel safe. And Hurley just comes along and he makes a golf course and everyone feels safe. And it's like, yeah, because he's like looking to the holistic well-being of people as whole human beings, not just as like symptoms to be treated.
Yeah, it's actually a really nice reading of that line as well. Because like it could have come across so bitter of being like, I've been doing everything here and everyone thinks Hurley's the hero because he made a golf course. But instead he does feel like genuinely.
Yeah, he's like fully acknowledging like, wow,
great.
This guy could do something that I can't do. Yeah.
I hate to have to walk my opinions back, but this time I have to hand it to Jack.
There's a really sad bit between Michael and Walt because Walt shows up and he's like, you left me alone. And Michael's like, oh, I left you with Claire. And she's like, she's fucking asleep. And also,
Michael
like,
is not beating the deadbeat dad allegations.
He's not. And it's like, he like, there's a moment when you think like it's getting better because he really seems to be like hearing Walt. And he's like, I'm so sorry, my guy. Like, I really shouldn't have done that. That was so wrong of me. And look, like, we're here playing golf. Like, do you want a turn? I'm sure someone would let you have a turn. And then someone's like, it's your turn, Michael. He's like, cool. So fuck off. I've got to play some golf.
It's like, we'll play later. Bye.
It was so rough. I was just like, literally, Michael, the time when you could open up the game to let Walt play, the most natural time to do that is when it is your turn. So you'll be when like, it's your turn. We'll take my turn.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Awful. But yeah, then, so the final scene is when Jack goes up and everyone starts taking their bets on how well he's going to do. And Alex. Sawyer comes out the woodwork.
These people do not understand how betting works. This scene drove me absolutely insane. I was like, so hang on, let me run through this. One person is like, oh, I bet I bet you $5 that the doctor sinks it or whatever. In other words, they're saying, I have $5 and I'm on Jack's side. Someone else says, oh, I'll take that if you make it 10. So to me, that sounds like they're saying, if you offer $10, then I will bet against Jack as the equivalent part to you betting for Jack. But the way that the line is said, they make it sound like, I have $10 and I'm also on Jack's side. And then Sullivan says like, oh, I'll bet my dinner on the dock or whatever. So these people are just like one-upping each other and how much they believe in Jack, basically, which is not how betting works to start with. That stuff I could take. And then Sawyer shows up and he's like, I bet 2 bottles of sunscreen and whatever it was, something else, that he fails.
Yeah. And Boone is like, I'll take that.
No. At first, Kate is the one who is the sort of like, I'm going to show everyone that you know, we're going to welcome Sawyer back into the fold. And she's like, I'll take that action. And then Boone goes, yeah, me too. It's like, that's also not how betting works. You can't, like, she's already taken that bet. He doesn't have 4 tubes of sunscreen to bet with. Like, and also if they win, if they lose the bet, what is he going to get from them? They don't have sunscreen. Like, none of this makes any sense.
Also, Shannon does point out, you just bet against him when Boone says, yeah, I'll do that. And Shannon.
Oh, no, she... okay, does she? Because that would at least make sense. I thought she said, you just bet... Do we have a transcript of this episode? Because I need to figure... Like, it bothered me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Sawyer, I've got 2 tubes of sunscreen and a flashlight, says he chokes. Kate says, I'll take that action. Boone says, yeah, me too. And Shannon says, you just bet on Jack, dumbass.
Yeah,
so Boone is now really playing
this dialogue
both
doesn't make any sense either, because first of all they're saying that he bet on Jack, in other words, like in favor of Jack, but then by Boone taking Sawyer's action, he's still also betting on Jack. It's like none of the dialogue makes any sense. It's like someone who's just heard the word gambling and is like, gonna write some dialogue.
Yeah,
I thought maybe as the next fun activity someone could just open a betting shop and like manipulate the fact
really
that nobody knows how betting works on this island. They just make a ton of money because they'll just call in all these bets all the time. Oh dear. Okay, I have a few other things if you don't mind.
So I've just got the Walton, the Walton Locke things where...
Okay, hit me. Go for it.
Oh, there's only 2. Well, Walt asks Locke if he can come hunting with him while Michael is having a nap, and Michael like wakes up and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing? Come back here." I know.
Well, he's not having a nap. It's like the night, because we've established that like Ethan and Locke are doing their hunting at night because it's the best time to hunt.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because it's like halfway through the episode, so I assumed it was like.
But it was like dark outside. Anyway, whatever.
Oh, okay. Walt wants to go. And I actually think this is tied in, where like Walt wants to come with Locke and Michael's like, I know what you're doing. And then later, when Walt comes to see Michael in the golf and is like, what's going on? You've left me alone. And when Michael's like, fuck off, kid, I don't care about you. Then we see Walt go back to Locke. Almost as like a sort of like, fine, if you're not paying attention to me, I'm going to go do that thing that I wanted to do.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit like, you keep saying that you don't want me to spend time with this mysterious older man. But you're not being a father to me, so I'm going to go find a surrogate father figure in this mysterious older man.
Yeah, and Locke hands him his knife. Woo. That's all I have to say about that. Michael has also drawn his nice, lovely little picture demonstrating his plan for showers. So we're getting some showers in the caves.
Yeah, this was one of the things that I noted down, where Michael has like drawn this technical diagram of how it's going to work with like, we'll separate the water into these places, and then this will be showers and this will be for cooking. So it'll be all like nice and hygienic. And Jack is just stunned that Michael is competent. He's just like, you drew this? And Michael's like, yeah, I used to be an artist. And Jack's like, but I thought you worked in construction. It's like, don't you think that if someone worked in construction, then being able to draw like a technical diagram of a plan for a thing is
to be fair,
a useful skill that someone would have.
It didn't look that much like a technical drawing as it did of like an artistic sketch of a shower. But also, his actual words are, I was an artist in a previous life. Oh. I'm only realizing now like how many like drop-ins there are about like other lives and purgatory and stuff. Because also right at the beginning when Jack's sorting out Sawyer's bandages, Sawyer is like, oh, you figure you patch me up, it'll buy you a ticket into heaven. Ooh. A lot of purgatory all over this episode.
Yeah, they're really sprinkling it heavily in all of this. The only thing I wanted to say about the Sawyer and Jack scene at the beginning is like kind of looping it back to what we were saying before about how topical the subject of torture was at this time in particular. They have like a little conversation about where Jack's sort of like, well, I don't have anything to feel bad about. And so it's like the bit where you like condoned torture and just sat and watched it happen and didn't seem to care. Like, that's very like addressing the American people in the year 2004. And also like the first thing that Sawyer says when Jack is like redoing his bandages or whatever, is this, he gives him a new nickname. He says, "Easy Jackass," and I'm like, Jack.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Oh yeah, and then fucking Jack, when Kate also calls him out about the torture, and she's like, Sayid left because he was so ashamed of what he did and he couldn't live with himself. And Jack says, "It was an accident."
Sure, Jack.
Hit the Jack hate jingle.
If Jack has no haters, I'm dead.
We do have does this episode pass the Bechdel test check-in, to which the answer is no. There is no point at which two women speak to each other in this episode. Yeah.
No, I guess even with the like very, very brief Shannon-Kate Boone interaction, Kate seems to be mostly talking to Boone anyway.
Yeah, Boone talks to Kate and Boone talks to Shannon, but Shannon and Kate do not talk to each other.
But it's nice that we've got one more female character on the show, even if she is an insane woman who's gone back to live in the jungle.
And she is queen of my heart.
Shall we go to a very short Connor's Corner?
Okay, hit us with Connor's Corner.
If you want aviation or medical information, welcome to Connor's Corner.
It's funny you said how excited you were to see the cable. This was the most excited Connor has been since we started the show.
I told you. It's important to the newcomers.
Yeah, he was very happy to see it. A little medical report on Sayid hanging upside down in the trap.
Oh yeah,
if you
he would surely die from all that blood being like flowing to his head.
Hang upside down for too long, you'll die. Although he did say that if he's young and healthy, he could probably last some time. Although it was light when he got trapped and dark by the time she let him down. So I don't really want to think about how many hours he was there for. So we won't think about that too much. Sort of similar to what you were saying about the survival is not enough. Apparently they include fishing kits on life rafts, not for you to like catch fish to eat, but so that you've like got something to do to like stimulate your mind while you're adrift in the ocean.
Wow. And I guess it's also like an added bonus that you might catch some fish to eat.
You might catch something to eat. And finally, he was unsure how or why Rousseau had access to these pharmaceuticals, but then realized that actually they've probably expired, which is interesting to think about, like lending credence to the idea that she has fully lost her mind, that she's still like, I need to give you these drugs. And after 16 years, they're probably, if they were any good for anything, they probably have expired by now. But she's like, nope, must inject everyone and anyone who comes into my lair.
Well, it worked, so.
Yeah. And that's all we've got this week.
Okay. Hot ranking?
Hot can be physical, hot can be emotional. Hot is whatever we decide, and everyone's attractive, but who's top of the ranking? Who's the hottest one on this island?
Okay, you go first. Who have you got?
I'm promoting Sayid, which means that he is going right to the top of the list because he was already in third place, so he's going to go up there.
Nice. So he's number one now.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm going to give it to Hurley.
Oh, newcomer on the list.
Newcomer on the ranking.
I think I figure why, but do you want to tell me why?
I mean, mostly just for being such a good guy, looking out for the fun of everyone. I think that is inherently quite hot.
That is hot. Shall we do as per usual and just have him like arise from the bottom? Last time it was as follows. The list obviously gets longer all the time. It was Sun, Charlie, Sayid, Kate, Claire, Sawyer, Boone, Shannon, Michael. So The only difference now is Sayid is going to the top and
So Sayid's at the top.
Harley will join the list at the bottom, I think.
I think so, yeah. Okay, great.
Lovely. That's all from us. Don't forget, if you want to reach out to us, you can find us on Instagram at Dharma Fish Biscuits Pod. You can also email us. The email address is dharmafishbiscuitspod@gmail.com.
We would also really, really love if you wanted to leave us a review. 5 stars is great. 4 stars, I guess, is fine, but ideally go for 5. Anything less than that, pop it in an email. Don't tell anyone in public. Our next episode will be out in 2 weeks, where we will be discussing episode 10, Raised by Another, one of my favourite episodes, and I cannot wait.
Okay, that's all from us at Dharma Fish Biscuits.
I'll see you in another life, Helen.
See you in another life, brother.